Hey, welcome to day 149, Coffee with Kenny. Tip for the day, a little progress each day adds up to big results. Going after your helicopter training, that's what it's all about, right? You're going to chip away at this thing. You're going to have problems along the way, probably some struggles. In the end, you get your rating, and then it's all worth it, okay? So what I want to talk about today, from a comment yesterday on the YouTube video we did, recommend your flight school. I'd like to keep this going, again, because we talk so much negative, right? Just because people email in with questions, concerns, problems, bad things that happen at flight schools, okay? Happens in any business in the world, right? So there is a lot of great flight training going on out there. There are exceptional instructors out there. There are businesses that do really, really well and care about your money and are passionate about it, okay? We want to highlight those. We want to hear from you when you're happy with your flight schools, when you feel like you've been taken care of. Share those stories with us and share a picture of you with your instructor or you in front of your flight school, or even better, the helicopter with a logo on it if you want. We'd love to share these stories. And I titled this today, Nice Business Cards and an Awesome Flashy Website. Comment from yesterday, and I really liked his comment because this is something that we discuss openly as pilots amongst ourselves, and I've never really said it quite like that in a video, but this gentleman in the comments, that was his comment. He said, hey, beware of nice business cards and an awesome flashy website. And he was just talking about how do I put this? So many times when you show up at a place, and this could be any business, not just helicopter schools, but you see a really neat business card and you check out a website and they have all these helicopters and the websites look really great, right? And a lot of the time, not every time, but many times, you'll show up at this flight school and you'll go, wow, this is not what they appeared to be, on the internet. And a lot of times they'll show a lot more helicopters maybe than what they have, or it could be a number of different things that a lot of times you just end up disappointed, right? So I'm just saying there has to be more to your choices than just, oh yeah, hey, check out business card, and you go to their website and the website looks beautiful. It may or may not be a great school. You need to do a little more investigation. Go visit the school. I wouldn't, I'm going to revisit the money thing. A lot of people are emailing in the comments, even below the videos here on YouTube. Here's a common theme that we're seeing coming from Hogs members. And they're saying, and I've stated this in video before, they're stating, don't give your flight school a great big huge amount of money up front, okay? They offer discounts for block time, and there's nothing wrong with that, but so many times people enter into an agreement before they get to the school, and then they show up, and then there's problems, and they're upset because they gave the flight school a lot of money, and then they don't feel like they can leave. So maybe a certain flight school you're going to, maybe they just require it. I just want to, basically say, make sure you do the research, find out as much as you can. If you can visit the flight school before you start flying, I think that's the best course of action. Go out, visit them, talk to the instructors, see the operation, look things over, and just try to get a feel for it. And if you can pay by the hour, man, I highly recommend that first. And then maybe if you're going to do a big chunk of money, let's say 20 grand for a private, and just throwing numbers out there, and they want you to give them, 15,000, maybe try to work something out and say, hey, I'd like to do this in, $5,000 installments or $2,000 installments. That's always an option that you can ask. And, there are so many scenarios out there. And again, I want to highlight good flight schools. I want to highlight some places that really go the extra mile and do things right for you and make you happy. And most of the time, you're not going to know. You're going to research the best you can, and your expectations may be met, and maybe you'll leave that flight school going, yes, they did a great job for me. They took care of me. They were passionate about it. They kept their aircraft in good working order and kept them clean, and the place was nice. And maybe the outcome won't be that, okay? that's part of it. And again, I think that's any industry. It's not just helicopter training. It can be anywhere. So in this video today, I want to, just say there are so many emails coming in with people, and some of these are getting really lengthy. I mean, where someone will email me and they'll start telling me problem after problem after problem, and a lot of times they are sucked in, right? And once you start going somewhere, and especially if you have money on account, then you're struggling with battling those issues that come up. So I think it goes back to, you research and do the best you can. If you could do it, you can pay by the hour, I still think it's the best. Make smaller installments maybe, because so many people are getting sucked in by a big, huge sum of money, and then they're not happy at the flight school. It is your money. And, maybe one particular flight school really is the right one for you, and they require a great big deposit. And sometimes maybe that's just the way to go. And maybe that's the way you have to do it. And the outcome's not going to always be bad. The outcome could be great. So I just want to caution you to, research the best you can. Go visit the school before you give them any money. Talk to people. Try to talk to maybe some other students if possible. But I really like, I'll read it again, I really like that comment that this person made yesterday in the comments. Just because they have nice business cards and an awesome flashy website doesn't mean that's what it's going to be when you get there. And again, I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. Add-on guy that we're working with now, we just had this discussion one of the last times he was here on how many times you'll look at a helicopter flight school and then you show up and you go, wow, this is not what I was expecting. Not going to always be the case. Again, there's a lot of great flight schools out there, okay? Share that with us. We're going to go back and I'm going to get the list from the blog post we did a couple years ago. I'm going to make a list from the comments from yesterday, and those will continue to come in. We'd love to see a picture of you at your flight school, and if your flight school wants to, make sure you include the logo for the flight school and the name and the website if you want, because we really want to highlight those who are doing a good job. And if you are a Hogs member and you've been out there and you've spent your money and you're happy with your flight school, tell us about it. Because we hear in business that if someone's unhappy, they'll tell like 19 people. If they're happy, they'll just tell like 3, right? Because they're just happy. So bad news travels fast, and when people complain, that travels fast. So I think this is why we hear so much negative, because that's the way the world works, right? We've heard this before. I've heard it over the years where someone will say, you'll get some praise when you do a good job for people. But man, if you do a bad job, man, that word spreads like wildfire. And I believe that. And I think that's why we hear so much good I think that's why we're getting so much feedback from members, emailing or commenting on YouTube or whatever the case is. You hear about the frustrations more than you hear about the successes, right? I mean, people do tell us when they pass their check rides and they're excited. And a lot of times, they'll mention their flight school, and that's great. So keep sending in your pictures, Hogs members, when you pass your check ride. And when you're happy with your flight school, make sure you give them a plug. We have no problem, letting the world know who you're happy with. And what better way for us to do this than you, who are our members that are using ground school, to supplement your training that you're getting from your instructor. So many times people are happy, and they even say, oh, I'm using ground school, but not because I'm unhappy. A lot of times a person is happy at their flight school and they're getting good ground school, and they just want helicopter land ground school as a supplement. That happens often. Some other times you hear the bad, right? Hey, the instructor just threw the book at me. Oh, here's the book, read it. That happens, right? I've seen it, I've been there. It happened to me when I was training. So let's wrap this up. Beautiful day. It's a Monday morning. I got to get out to the airport, get ready to go. So, remember, a little progress each day adds up to big results. We just highlighted Gabriel the other day, and he jumped in the comments and put his thoughts in about some flight schools, but he had some negative things that happened. But in the end, he got the rating, right? And struggles are a part of life. Struggles are a part of anything. Going for helicopter rating, if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. It is expensive. Got to make the best choices for your money. So thanks for tuning in to day 149. Tomorrow will be day 150. Please subscribe to the channel. When you subscribe, click that little bell down below. Please give us a thumbs up on the video. If you don't like it, make sure you hit dislike twice. If you're going to hit dislike, go ahead and hit it a second time. And we will see you in day 150.